Hey guys, it's me Letitia and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a talk through kind of get ready with me video. I was bored and I bought some new makeup and I figured why not play around with it. A lot of this makeup is by Maybelline, but I don't know if you can tell by the struggling numbers on my channel, but this is not a sponsored video. I decided to try the Maybelline Super Stay 24-hour foundations. I am a huge fan of Maybelline, but I actually bought this shade Warm Coconut first a few weeks ago, but when I tried it on, it was way too orange for me. So I went and ordered the shade Warm Sun to mix it together, because the one in the middle is called Coconut, and for some reason it looked way darker than, it looked way darker than Warm Coconut. So I just got this and decided I was going to mix them together. I also bought a couple of other new Maybelline products. I got the Super Stay Matte Ink lipstick, and this is in the shade Driver, and I also got the Fit Me loose powder. Finally, I've heard a lot of good things about this powder, and I'm trying to find something to kind of replace the Sacha Buttercup powder, just so that it can be more affordable, because I know the Sacha Buttercup powder is like 20 bucks. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime my face as usual, and I'm using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter primer. I've been using this primer every single time I do my makeup, and I just really like how it feels on my skin. It feels more like a skincare product versus an actual primer. I just really like how smooth it is, and it looks good with all of my foundations that I put on, and not just the Fenty Beauty foundation, so that's always a plus. So now I'm going to fill in my brows, and I realized I don't really do my brows on camera just because it can take some time, but I'm gonna do my lazy brows today, and this is the e.l.f. brow pencil in Deepest Brown. This is probably one of my favorite pencils. I just wish it was more on the skinnier side, and I wish that I was able to sharpen it, but I can't really do that. So, and I'm just gonna stick really close to my brows so that I don't really have to use concealer. I'm trying to phase out the concealer brows because sometimes I feel like I get a little too harsh with it. So let's see how it looks without the concealer. Okay, I think we can do without the concealer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in the next one. Okay, I think these are good for now. Of course, once I put on my foundation, I always end up cleaning them up along the top so they don't look so thick, but this is what we're going to work with for now. So moving on to my foundation, I'm mixing the two Maybelline Super Stay foundations in the shades 356 Warm Coconut and 334 Warm Sun. So I'm actually gonna play around. Last time I did a couple pumps of the darker shade and then mixed in the lighter shade, but I'm gonna do a couple pumps of the lighter shade this time and mix in the darker shade and see how that looks. Just gonna take the end of a brush and mix the two together on the back of my hand here, and hopefully I can cancel out as much of that orange color as possible and just dot this all over my face. So the perks of this foundation is it's supposed to be 24 hours, it's full coverage, which I can definitely vouch for that, and it's non-transferable, which for me, it actually didn't transfer that much with the exception of my nose, but that's because I have a really oily nose no matter what I do. So that didn't really surprise me, but overall I do like the foundation, and I didn't really get greasy at the end of the day. After using it, I just got like a nice little soft sheen where it kind of looked more like a glow. I hope this is not too light. I probably should have added a few more pumps of the dark shade. Let's see. I could probably use a couple more pumps of the darker shade and just mix that in. Okay, that's better. So as you can see, this foundation is super full coverage, and I didn't even, this really isn't a lot, honestly. And I'm just gonna buff this out using my Real Technique Expert Face Brush, which is great if you want a nice full coverage. It buffs out everything without soaking up the product. Okay, maybe I lied. I probably put on a little bit too much foundation. That's what happens when I talk too much. But we're just gonna blend it out. And I also like to take it down my neck a little bit so that it can all blend with the rest of my body and my chest. And I always like to put my foundation on my lids so that everything looks evened out, because I do have dark eyelids. So, but look at the coverage of this foundation. Like, I know I'm not really a full coverage person, but this is definitely like great coverage. I have like a terrible dark spot right on this cheek from when I had a really huge pimple, and it covered it up with no problem. So if you want a good full coverage foundation, this is definitely it. So now I'm going to highlight under the eyes, and I am using the Maybelline concealer. This is their Fit Me concealer in the shade 25 medium. I know it looks super light, and it is, but I just really wanted something nice and bright. I actually tried this out the other day, and even though it's really bright, it blends in really well, so I don't feel the need to panic. It doesn't end up being as bright as what it originally turns out to be. It is a little bit on the thin side too, so I feel like if you are someone that's not, you know, necessarily needing full coverage concealer, you want something lightweight, then I think this would probably be good. But I'm gonna blend this out using my damp Real Technique beauty sponge. Just gonna take whatever's left on my sponge and use it to conceal along my top lip, because I do have a little bit of a shadow there. This is like my favorite sponge of all time, and it's really affordable. It's just really soft, but it doesn't soak up anything. It doesn't soak up the product. It just blends out really nicely. So now I'm going to set my concealer, and I got the Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade medium as well. I've heard a lot of good things about this powder, and I tried it on the other day, and I really like the way that it looks. I love the packaging. It's just a nice, cute, square packaging. And I like the fact that it doesn't spill all over the place. It has a little sifter at the top, so you don't really have to worry about making a mess. So I'm just gonna dip my sponge back into this powder and just let that sit for a second. I really like how neutral this is on my skin compared to the Sacha Buttercup powder, which is really, really yellow. Almost died. So I'm just going to take this tapered brush by e.l.f. and I'm just going to use that to dust away the excess powder. So as you can see, it's definitely like brightened under my eyes, but I know how to fix that so that I don't look crazy if I'm taking pictures or anything like that. I'm gonna tone it down and actually set my face. And I actually picked up the e.l.f. finishing powder. This is the Prime and Stay finishing powder in the shade medium dark. I actually got this at Target. I picked up all this stuff really at Target, and this was on clearance for $1, so I had to get it because I mean it was $1. You can't beat that. But I'm taking my beat up old Real Technique powder brush, and I'm just gonna swivel that into the powder and use that to not only set my foundation but blend out my highlighted areas as well, because I don't want to look crazy. This powder doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't make me look cakey. It actually looks really nice on my skin. So I think it's safe to say my bronzer is just gone. I don't know what happened to it. It just disappeared out of nowhere, but I guess I'm going to be using my oldie but goodie Maybelline Fit Me Press Powder in Mocha. That's number 360. And I'm going to use that to warm up the outer perimeters of my face. And I like to use a really light fluffy brush so that it's not so heavy or harsh looking on my face. And this is just a brush that I picked up at my local Ross. I had bought some highlighters from there, and those highlighters were terrible, but I kept the brush. This will just put some warmth and color back into my face, as well as chisel everything out. And I'm going to very lightly dust this along the sides of my nose to give me a slight contour. Okay, so I'm going to keep the eyes really simple. I wanted to put something on my eyes, but not do too much. So I'm gonna take my City Mini palette collaboration with Shayla and Maybelline, and I'm actually gonna take this warm reddish brown here, and just using my finger, I'm gonna just pat that onto my lid just to give me a little bit of color, so it looks like I did something even though I really didn't. Take it up to my crease area as well and kind of fade it out so it looks like both a transitional color and a lid color in one. So I will not be putting on false lashes today simply because I don't feel like it, but I'm gonna take my L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara in Black is Black and put on a few coats of that. Of course, I always get mascara like right on my face. Take my foundation brush with whatever is left on it and I just dot it right over top. So the next thing I'm going to do is highlight, and I'm using the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade 100 Molten Gold. I think I'm going to go ahead and highlight my inner corners first of my eye and then highlight the rest of my face. I'm just taking this small illuminator brush to do that. And then I'm going to take a actual fluffy highlighting brush that is desperately in need of cleaning, but I'm going to take that and highlight the high points of my cheeks here. Maybe it's just me, but it's like when I first bought this highlighter, I thought it was so beautiful on my skin, but now I feel like it might be a little bit too ashy. But I still use it because I do like the color. I just feel like it might be a little bit too ashy at times, but it's okay. I'm just gonna highlight the sides of my forehead, get my top lip here, and my chin. So finally moving on to the lips, I'm going to line them first using a brown lip liner, and this one is Cork by MAC. This is probably like my first ever expensive purchase. When I first started getting into makeup, I was just so happy. Plus I saw cork like all over YouTube, so I just felt like I had to get it. So now I'm going to fill in my lips. I always feel the need to fill in my lips whenever I use a brown pencil as a base. And I just think certain lip colors look a lot better when I do that. So now I'm going to go over my lips with the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink Lipstick. And this is in the color 55 Driver. And I thought this was a beautiful nude color, so I wanted to give it a try. Just gonna blend out my top lip here. I don't know what it is about my lip, but the color can never pick up on my top lip, so I have to go back and blend it. There's always like this demarcation on my lip, and I have to fix it or else it'll just be stuck there. So finally, I'm going to set my foundation and get rid of some of this powdery look using my Wet n Wild Natural Finish Setting Spray. And another little trick I learned is if you feel like you've put on too much setting spray, you can just take your sponge and kind of press it into the skin. And it quickens the setting process when you do that. So I'm actually going to add a little bit more of my Maybelline lipstick in the center. I feel like I didn't put on enough, so I just put that on and blend it again. So this is pretty much it for this makeup look. I'm pretty sure this will be my go-to like everyday makeup look, and I really do like it. If you like it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so that way you'll keep up with me every time that I post. All of the information on this video, the products will be down below in the description box, as well as my information, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.